Ursula, also known as Ursi, and this is my kitchen. It is a great day in my kitchen today because today I am going to share with you my recipe for chocolate chip cloud cookies. I'm so excited to share these with you. This cookie is actually the very first cookie that I ever, I don't want to say like became famous for, but like became known for. I started making these cookies when I was about 15, 16 years old. I brought them to my friend's house. I brought them to work for people's birthdays. I brought them on picnics and to family gatherings, and everybody loved them. So I'm super excited to share this recipe with you. It's kind of a lot like your traditional chocolate chip cookie recipe, except for the fact that we include some buttermilk, which turns these cookies into an airy, cakey, delicious treat. Come check out the ingredients you'll need to make these. The ingredients for the chocolate chip cloud cookies are as follows. You'll need 2 sticks of softened, unsalted butter, 1 cup granulated sugar, 1 cup light brown sugar, lightly packed, 2 large eggs, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, although if you really want to get super creative, you can use 1 teaspoon vanilla extract and then 2 teaspoons of almond extract. Really switches up the flavor. I'm using a tablespoon of strictly vanilla. 1 tablespoon baking powder, half a teaspoon of salt, 3 cups all-purpose flour, half a cup of buttermilk, about to lose an egg there, rolling, and then 1/2 to 1 cup of mini semi-sweet chocolate chips. Again, depending on your chocolate preferences, you might want to use more or less. I always like a little extra chocolate in my cookies, but always go for the mini because the fluffy texture of this cookie can get real weighted down with a heavy chocolate chip. And then you'll just also benefit from having a little wire sifter. This is really a colander, but I use it for sifting, and a large bowl on hand. Let's get started and whip these cookies up. The first step to make these cookies is something that we typically never do with cookies in the kitchen and that we only really reserve for cakes, is that we're going to sift our flour, our baking powder, and our salt all together into one bowl. So this really helps create that cakey, cloud-like texture for these chocolate chip cloud cookies. So to start, I'm just going to gently pour my flour into my sifter. Some will fall through right away, some will not. And you're kind of going to have to move your sifter back and forth. This makes a huge mess in the kitchen if you don't have the right size bowl. As you see, I think I have the right size bowl here, and I'm still making a bit of a mess, but it's all fun in baking. It's making the mess. So there we go. That's the flour. Now I'm going to add the baking powder, which should go through pretty quick. Awesome. And then the salt. The salt always just falls right through. Now, you could theoretically leave it like this, but that's not good because then all your baking powder's on the top and all your flour's on the bottom. So, just grab a little wire whisk if you have one. If not, a tablespoon works fine. And just give it a quick mix. There we go. Let's head over to my stand mixer so we can get these cookies going. All right, here we are at my stand mixer, and it's time for us to combine our butter and both of our sugars together. So you're going to take your softened butter. Hopefully your butter is soft and not as, like, almost to the point of melted as mine is. It is about 100 degrees outside today where I live. So this butter softened up real quick for me. Then I'm going to add my brown sugar and my granulated sugar. And you're going to let this mix for about 2 to 3 minutes. You want a really beautiful, fluffy consistency. So here's whipping. Beautiful, fluffy butter and sugar combination so far. So I'm just going to take my rubber spatula and scrape down the sides of my bowl. That way everything's in a nice little pile. And now it's time to add the eggs. So as always, when adding your eggs, just be careful not to get any shells in the batter, but as always, I won't tell if you do. Oh no, am I about to get a shell in? That was the least beautiful egg crack I think ever recorded on camera. I'll try better for the second one. Actually, you're gonna beat them in one at a time. You don't wanna overdo it with the egg. So crack one in there, mix for about 30 seconds till fully incorporated, and then crack your second. All right, there. Now time for the second one. All right, look at that. Oh, much prettier than last time and 0 shells. So let that whip for about, again, 30 seconds, and then we're going to add our vanilla extract after that. All right, now I'm just gonna throw my vanilla extract in and just mix till just combined. Perfect. This cookie dough is ready for some flour. Time to add the flour and the buttermilk. Now, when we add flour and buttermilk to these cookies, the goal is to not make anything too dense, to not get an overdeveloped, ooh, got some cookie dough already on my fingers. Not to make an overdeveloped gluten, because that makes a tough cookie. And the name of these cookies is chocolate chip cloud cookies. So you can't have a dense cloud cookie. So we're gonna add our flour slowly and with the mixer on low. Then we're gonna pour a little buttermilk, and then we're gonna repeat the process about 3 times, okay? So here, let me show you how I do it at first. I take a cup measure and I add about a cup of flour, because there's 3 cups in here, so a cup is about, actually it's exactly a third. It's not even about anything, it's exactly 1/3. I'm gonna pour it in, make sure I get it all. And then you're gonna start your mixer on low, and as soon as the flour is just combined, so you're gonna add just a little bit of your buttermilk, and then we'll repeat the process 2 more times. I always find it helpful just to be holding your buttermilk so that when you see it's just combined, you're like ready to go. Gorgeous. I'm gonna do that 2 more times. Check back in with you when I'm done. Our beautiful cookie dough is just about ready to go. When you're looking at this cookie dough, you might notice that it doesn't look like the traditional cookie dough that you're used to seeing, the hard lump of stuff. And it kind of looks like a very thick cake batter. Like this is too thick to be a cake and too thin to be a cookie. It's exactly where you want it because this helps give it that cloud-like texture. So we're going to now just add our chocolate chips. And because we don't want to overmix the dough, but we really do want to make sure that the chocolate chips are incorporated. You don't want one cookie with all the chocolate chips and then a bunch of plain ones. I like to put my mixer on low, count to 5, and then assess if I think it needs 5 more seconds. So I'm going to do that, and let's see. It looks like it could use another 5 seconds. Perfect. Part of me really wants to add more chocolate chips to this, but I think I'm going to leave it at that. And I'll meet you over at my kitchen island so we can scoop these bad boys out and get them in the oven. All right, everyone, it is time to scoop some cookies. If you're ready to scoop cookies in your kitchen, you're going to need a baking sheet with some parchment paper on it so that the cookies do not stick, and just a simple tablespoon. So watch how easy this is. We take a nice tablespoon, we drag it across our batter. Oh, look at that, delicious. Then just using our finger, we gently slide it off. Simple as that. So we're gonna keep doing that all down the sheet. You're gonna wanna give like 2 finger widths apart between your cookies. So about 2 inches. I always kind of eyeball it. But you don't want one mega cookie. You want a bunch of good cookies to eat. Now, if you're like me and in between pushing cookies off, you tend to lick your finger like this, you might notice that this does not taste like your standard cookie dough. That's because it's got buttermilk in it. That buttermilk flavor is going to bake out in the oven, and you're going to be left behind with a delicious, cakey consistency. Think about red velvet cake. There's a ton of buttermilk in most red velvet cake recipes, and you don't get that taste. So if you're tasting it in your cookies, your cookie dough, and you're alarmed, don't be. All right, our cookie dough is scooped, and now into the oven they go. But before they go into the oven, pro tip, don't leave your cookie dough batter out on the counter if it's 104 degrees outside like it is in my apartment today. Throw this in the fridge so that it doesn't melt. Now, into the oven we go. All right, look here, what's fresh out of the oven. Our delicious chocolate chip cloud cookies are all done. As you can see, they just look like little perfect puffs of cakey chocolate chip cookies. So you need to let these cool for about 10 minutes if you can. I'm not gonna lie, I've definitely burnt my fair share of taste buds off my tongue because I've eaten them like piping hot out of the oven. Kind of worth it though. So just take them and gently remove them. Put them on a wire cooling rack. Let them cool 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes. And you're in for cookie heaven. All right, this is the last little rump that I was scraping out of the bottom of the bowl. So don't pay attention to this cookie, it's a little burnt. But take a look at this beautiful, hot, delicious cakey cloud cookie. This is about half of the batch. You should get about 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, like 30 cookies out of the bigger batch that I told you to make. This is just half. I've got more cookies to scoop. I'm Ursi from Ursi's Unique Eats. Thank you so much for baking with me. I am over the moon to have shared my chocolate chip cloud cookie recipe with you guys because it's just my foolproof, classic, go-to cookie recipe. If you bake these cookies, let me know how it went down in the comment section below. And don't forget to check out my YouTube channel. I put out new videos every Thursday with help of my fiance. Got lots of different videos, and if there's something you want to see, feel free to let me know in the comment section as well. Until then, grab a cookie and some milk and enjoy!